Today, we wanted to record a video to show that some things are not just fantasies, but actually work. However, there are a few things to think about when you see the results here. First of all, it is safe to say that we would have failed right at the beginning if we had started with only $500 in this system instead of $1,000. This means that basic capitalization plays a major role. The second point is that we see an outcome that is only one of many possible outcomes that could have occurred. If you don't optimize a system and just rely on the fact that it worked yesterday and last week, you can get nasty surprises. The only way to get better results in the long run is to run many hundreds of tests, which can sometimes take a long time. Even this test here is not done in a minute or two, even though the PC it is running on is extensively equipped with hardware and graphics card. Such tests are very resource hungry and can take a long time. We now have a situation that we want to take a closer look at. What if we could put this result into practice? This would mean that we would not only have doubled or tripled our capital within 10 years, but multiplied it by a maximum. That would be one way of being able to trade profitably in the long term, provided you get the system stable enough. This means that the many hours spent on these tests are well invested. At the same time, it means that you have to take the time to test for years. In my case, we have been testing this for 10 years now and will probably continue to do so for the next 10 years. It's about long-term testing and achieving long-term results with as little risk as possible. But what looks like a small weakness in the system here and there can lead to people reacting strongly emotionally in practice. These dips may not look particularly impressive, but when you see a system suddenly drop from 30,000 to 20,000, it has a different effect than when you see it on the chart in a few seconds. Real money is always a problem, no matter how much you have. You want to keep as much of it as possible and lose as little as possible. The main problem with us humans is that every dollar we lose is twice as bad emotionally as every dollar we gain would be positive. Consequently, we will always try to avoid losses and react more strongly to losses than we do to profits. This is exactly what plays into the broker's pocket, because he makes the most money from the negative emotions of traders. Not only does he make money on every position, whether we lose or win, but he also makes money by making us so scared at one or more points that we close our account. In this system, there is a drop from $34,000 to about $20,000. The biggest problem, however, is that we keep going until the system stops working or we have driven our account into the wall. To avoid this, it makes sense to use an equity stop that is as close as possible to the current gross balance. This is easy to program and in practice results in fewer losses. Many people want even better results when they are doing well and become careless and greedy as a result. As soon as this happens and you no longer adhere to your own rules, you no longer have a system because you manipulate it, and the results get worse as a result. It's a bit like making a fire. There are people who poke around in the coals until the barbecue goes out completely. To avoid such results and ensure positive experiences and profits for the future, you have to take the time to carry out many tests until you have a stable system. In fact, we are taking a risk here that is far higher than what we would take in normal operations. Such results can only be achieved with an unreasonably high level of risk. However, as this has now worked for over 10 years, and you don't take a risk that could threaten the existence of an account with a few €100, it makes sense to test such a high-risk system in real operation with these settings. We will therefore deviate from our usual approach and see whether we can achieve similar success with the settings used. Our system should now be slowly coming to an end. We have now arrived in 2023, and it is currently the month of June in 2024. You can often see in the last few meters that the biggest equity slump is still to come. In this case, you can see that we still have a lot of time left at the end of our test series, even though our equity curve is not moving at all. This indicates that we have to expect a massive slump. In the backtest, this can only last a few seconds, but in real trading, it can take weeks or months for the profits made to disappear again. This is so emotionally stressful for many people that they tend to act irrationally and don't wait until the end to see the result. This is also difficult for us, as we are used to listening to our own feelings. A computer doesn't have this problem. It can follow whatever rules we give it. So if we take ourselves out of the equation and optimize the computer so that it acts automatically over the years, we are able to achieve better results than if we try to do so based on our own emotions. Our video is now ready. We made a net profit of $90,270 in the backtest from 2013 to 2024, which equates to a gross profit of $144,199. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.